Revenge films.
My name is Nancy. I live with my boyfriend, Miles, who I've been dating since high school. He just graduated college, so he doesn't make much money yet. So we were barely making ends meet as I paid for the rent and living expenses working as a kindergarten teacher. He had a childish side and was a pure soul, so it was a lot of fun when I was with him. At the same time, he was a free spirit, so when he goes out, he would often not come home until the next day. When I got worried,
"It's fine. I'm planning to marry you, so you don't have to worry about me."
that was what he said, so I trusted him and started to save money for our marriage secretly. He planned to marry me and said,
"We can get married if you get pregnant."
so he refused to use protection. I loved children and I enjoyed working as a kindergarten teacher, so I was glad when he said that. I was ready to be pregnant, so I thought I would naturally get married to him soon. But it turns out I was the only one who felt that way. One day my stomach was feeling weird, so I was resting at home. But then I realized that my period was over a week late. I wasn't feeling well, so I thought it was very likely that I was pregnant. So I quickly contacted him. Then he quickly came home after work
"Are you really pregnant?"
and asked me as if to question me, so I couldn't help but answer, "Yeah." I thought he'd be overjoyed when I told him that, but he reacted in the exact opposite way.
"No way! Were you cheating on me? Whose baby is it?"
He was furious. I obviously never cheated on him, so I was confused. "It's your baby, Miles," I replied. But he didn't believe me at all and called me a cheater. When I asked him for an explanation, he confidently said,
"I'm seedless. There's no way I can make you pregnant."
That was what he said. I was so shocked my mind went blank. Realizing that his promise of getting married once I get pregnant was just a lie, my trust for him quickly disappeared. He had been deceiving me all along, but he's here angrily blaming me for cheating on him. He didn't plan to listen to me at all. When I firmly told him that I never cheated on him, he said he'll prove that he was seedless, and suddenly told me that he'll take me to his parents' house. When I arrived at his parents' house, his parents, who had no idea what was going on, greeted me with a smile. I had had dinner with them many times in the past, and they adored me, so when I saw their faces, I felt relieved and couldn't stop myself from crying. Looking surprised, "What's wrong?" my mother-in-law asked, and my boyfriend replied,
"She cheated on me."
So I desperately denied the fact. His parents insisted that we should calm down and talk about it together. So we decided to explain what had happened in the living room. After we explained everything, both his parents got furious, especially his mother. "Do you think she's an object or something?" She was furious and hit him on the head. "First of all, I never knew that you were seedless. When did you get your body checked?" When she asked, he answered,
"Huh? I got a high fever and was hospitalized when I was a child, remember? I heard that we become seedless when we get a high fever."
He looked proud for some reason. It turns out that he never got himself properly checked, but misunderstood that he was seedless and refused to use protection, although he never planned to marry me. When I found that out, I decided that I should break up with him. His parents also said, "Nancy, I'm very sorry. I never knew our son was such an awful person. You deserve someone much better than him." They recommended that I break up with him. We persuaded him to get checked at the hospital because there was no way he would become seedless just because of a fever. And as expected, the results revealed that he wasn't seedless after all. Then he started to panic.
"Does that mean I was giving all kinds of women my seeds?"
He went pale. When I asked him what that meant, he replied that because he thought he was seedless, He was having multiple sexual relationships with various women without protection. I was so shocked, I had no words for him. So I decided to move back to my parents' house, leaving him alone. I told my mother about what had happened, and with my mother, I went to the OBGYN right away to get my body checked. Then it turns out that I wasn't pregnant, and it was just that my period was a bit late. Maybe because I felt relieved by the test results, my period came the next day. I was glad with how things turned out, but my parents were too furious to let this go, and insisted that they wanted to talk with him and his parents, so we all visited his parents' house again. He desperately apologized to my parents, who were furious and wept as he begged that he wanted to get back together with me.
I panicked when she said she was pregnant and those words slipped out of my mouth, but I really planned to marry Nancy.
So I said to him, I bet you realized that it was impossible for you to make a living with just your own salary after I moved out. It looked like I was right, and he went silent. Both my parents and his parents were furiously questioning him, and he finally broke down in tears, but another tragedy was waiting for him. We were done talking to him, so when we were about to leave, the doorbell rang. When his mother opened the door, I found Mary, who used to be my classmate in high school, standing there with a demon-like expression. When Mary saw me inside, "Nancy? Why are you here?" She looked very surprised. Miles looked like he was in a panic.
Mary?
And then he tried to run away, passing by the doorway. But then Mary stopped him. "Wait!" She grabbed his arm and said, "What are you going to do about the baby? How come we're not getting married?" She said something very surprising. It turns out that Mary was pregnant with his baby. She didn't know that we were dating each other and living together, so she called him a cheater and made a fuss about how he was going to take responsibility for his actions. His parents were too tired to get mad at this point, and they asked him not to come back ever again and kicked him out of their house. After I moved back in with my mother, I decided to spend some time to relax and heal my wounded heart. Then Mary suddenly contacted me, saying that she decided to break up with him. After she found out that he had deceived her, she told everything to her parents, barged into his office and asked for compensation money. She decided to give up on her baby, and she said that she'll never be able to forgive him. But with the compensation money, she plans to start her life anew. His parents broke relations with him at such an early age, so he no longer had a home to go back to. So he had to wander the streets. After Mary and her parents barged into his office, all of his irresponsible actions were revealed. And because he felt too uncomfortable to stay, he had no other choice but to resign. As he didn't have any certifications nor a strong educational background, he had trouble looking for a job and was no longer able to make a living. I don't know where I met her, but I heard that he found himself a sugar mommy. As a result of being spoiled by a lady in her 60s despite not having any romantic feelings for her, there was no way he was getting married in the near future, and he was aging without a stable job. 10 years later, when I saw him at the high school reunion, he looked like he went through a lot, from his balding head and aged look with his skinny body. When he saw me,
She's the woman I loved the most in my life.
he was telling everyone that. But I had already gotten remarried and had 2 kids who went to elementary school. So I went home without talking to him even once. Rumor says that he still doesn't have a stable job. And now that he was in his 30s, he couldn't find himself a sugar mommy anymore and lives among the homeless people on the streets. When I met Mary at the reunion, she looked very happy, saying that she just got married and had a baby. She told me that she broke relations with him after that and never got involved with him ever again. As we gave each other updates about our recent lives, we were both happy to see both of us doing well. I don't think I have to tell you that I had long forgotten about him and was living a happy life with my family. I had a hard time with my love affair when I was younger, but I met the love of my life after that, and I'm glad I got to find my own happiness. I felt a bit sorry to see him going through all those struggles, but I honestly think he deserves it. So I hope he can learn from his mistakes and change for the better.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.